My name is Matt Redman. I am a baseball and softball coach from Camden in southwest Sydney, Australia. I've been coaching for nearly 25 years now, and I've had a lot of success both locally and at a state level. I'm a business owner as well. I own a couple of businesses, including a baseball and softball retail store and training facility. So we're putting this podcast together to try and help out some of the mums and dads and beginner coaches and players out there. We've been looking around and I can't find a resource for people who are sort of new to the game. There's plenty of big league swing technique and all that kind of stuff out there being taught, but what I sort of specialise in and where I've found a lot of success is teaching beginners and teaching beginner coaches, helping people to enjoy the game, helping coaches to help their kids enjoy the game, helping coaches deal with stakeholders, parents, all that kind of stuff. There's lots of tips out there and tricks that I've come across in my last 25 years that people have found really helpful when I help them out in my local community. So I thought I'd put some of this stuff together for everybody out there, and some people might look at what I talk about and how I do things and say, that's not how I do it. Well, that probably means that this isn't for you. But there's a lot of people out there that will need this stuff, and I think they'll find it pretty useful. So I wanted to just, whether people need it or not, or want it or not, I wanted to just create this resource so that it's there if they want it. I'm not a big league coach or anything like that. I'm just a little league coach. I coach T-ball all the way up to, say, senior league. I've done it a few times. This is my third time through that journey, taking kids from T-ball 4-year-olds right up to 15, 16-year-olds. So I've had a lot of success. I've got a lot of kids that I've coached that gone on to play college, become great coaches in their own right. And everyone I sort of deal with seems to enjoy the way I approach the game and the things that I teach. And I get a lot of questions all the time, so I thought I'd try and create a resource for people and spread the word out there and hopefully try and spread the love of baseball. So I've been playing baseball myself since I was 4 years old, just in the local competition here. Started as a T-baller, played all the way through my life right up to the last couple of years because I got too busy with coaching and business and whatnot. But I started my coaching journey when I was only 17 years old. I sort of showed up and signed up my then girlfriend's child and said, if you guys need a hand, I'm happy to give a hand. And a couple of days later, I got a phone call and they said, are you still happy to help? And I said, yeah, sure. And they said, come pick up your kit and your team list and the game's starting in 3 weeks. So that's basically how I started in coaching. I just loved it ever since. Once I got started, I really found that I had a great passion for coaching. It wasn't long before I started to enjoy coaching more than playing itself. I draw on my experience from being a player in representative state level, national level programs. I've been taught by some of the best coaches around in both our local and state areas. Even though they may not thought I was listening so well when I was a young fella, because we're all a bit funny when we're younger, I did soak up a lot of that knowledge, and I use that knowledge now to pass on to the young kids. And over 25 years of trying to figure out ways to get that message across, I've pretty much mastered it, I think. In saying that, I'm always learning new ways of doing things. I'm always taking advice from people around me, because I could be walking past somebody who's coaching for the first year and see what they're doing in their training session and think that is a fantastic idea, and I'll incorporate it into what I do. So once you stop learning, you start forgetting. So I'm always trying to get better. So I've coached for 23 years now. This will be 24 years coming up. I've coached everything from T-ball right through to representative level baseball and adults. I really throw myself into this game. Before I owned my own shop and training facility. I used to run around like crazy trying to get from my full-time job to all of my coaching commitments. I coached 9 campaigns in 1 year. I just struggle to say no. I love the game. It has definitely taken its toll on some of my relationships and jobs in the past. It always seems to come first. So now that I do it for a job, it seems like the perfect match for me. So my strength in coaching is definitely coaching the younger ones and helping them to try and enjoy the game and learn the game. Those two things go hand in hand. Of course, this game is such a game with such intricate rules, and it really is a game of failure. The kids definitely enjoy the game more when they understand what's happening more. So that's sort of the approach I take when I try to coach my kids and coach my players. So enjoyment is really at the forefront of everything I do with the kids. I try and gamify as much as we can, but at the same time, we need to make sure we're teaching them the principles and the rules of the game. Because this is such a rules-heavy game, especially as we get older, it's very important that we teach the kids how the game and the fundamentals and the mechanics work in order for them to be able to enjoy it. And you do see a lot of kids out there that just the ball gets hit and they just don't know why everyone's yelling at them and screaming and getting excited. So if they want, as soon as they understand the game a bit better, that's when they really start to enjoy it a bit more. So that's the approach I take. Fun, enjoyment, and knowledge. They're the kinds of things that I want to get into the kids that I train. I love coaching because I love to see the kids out there doing something we've taught them in training. I like to see the kids enjoying the game that I love. I know how much I loved the game when I was younger. I couldn't wait to go to training. I couldn't wait for school to be finished so I could go to baseball training. I would have trained every day if I could have. The opportunities that are out there now for kids are just amazing compared to what was around when I was younger, particularly being in Australia and it being a minority but growing sport. I would have just played every day if I had the opportunity. So I know that there is a way for kids to love it as much as I do, and that's what I try and instill, and I want to try and give that gift to other kids, because it really was a sanctuary for me to enjoy myself, express myself. I may not have been going so good at school or whatnot, but I always could go to baseball and give it my best, and I got the results out of it, and I loved it. So RBI Australia is a baseball and softball training facility out in Camden in southwest Sydney, Australia. My wife and I started it in 2019 after I finally convinced her to mortgage our house and put everything we own on the line to chase this dream of mine. She followed me down to a registration day of a local club one day, and she saw the lines of people and how many people were asking for gear and where can they get training and whatnot. And she said to me when we got home, well, I think we should do this. Yeah, and from there we've grown to 2 stores. We've become part of the community around both of our stores in the Sydney area. We now do coaching, we do one-on-one coaching, we do group coaching, we do all kinds of stuff. And there's kids in our area that at the 10, 11-year-old mark that never would have known a world without RBI and baseball without us existing. It really is a privilege to have been able to give this gift to the local baseball and softball community. As hard as it is so hard. I love business. It really has become my sport now, business. The more I learn about it, the worse I am, which excites me as well, because that means I've got a long way to go, and I've got a lot more to learn in business as well as in baseball. So it's been a challenge, RBI, and keeping it afloat and going. And I tell you what, it is not for the faint of heart, this business thing, but it is a passion of mine, and I won't give up. So let me give you a bit of a rundown. So we opened in 2019, opening night. We were sitting there and we're ready to go, and we're testing all the machines that we've imported from the States. And next thing you know, one machine breaks down. It's a challenge. And then about an hour or two later through testing, the other pitching machine breaks down. So we're now sitting here the night of opening night eve with 2 pitching machines that don't work. So what do? After I wiped my wife's tears off my shoulder, we jumped into the car and we went and we saw the local clubs who were kind enough to back us up. We dug through their storeroom of one of the local clubs here, and we pulled out a dusty old pitching machine. We also got a Zuka machine for the other cage, and I had to recruit family and friends to come in and sit on these machines and feed them for the customers for our open day, which was planned for the next day. So we were running around till midnight with help of family and friends, loading up trucks to try and get these things into the store, testing them, getting them ready, pumping up tires on pitching machines and wiping away cobwebs. And you wouldn't plan a worse beginning to a grand opening, but we got the doors open the next day. We had people there filing through the doors. It was so good to see everybody come in and their eyes opened so wide when they saw our big batting cages and our shop and all this stuff that had never been in our area or accessible to anyone around us ever before. So it was a very, very tumultuous first day. So to add to that, you've got about a week or two later after we opened, and it was some of the worst bushfires that we'd ever seen in New South Wales. And so every day we'd open the doors, the place was full of smoke. The whole of Sydney was blanketed in smoke. So people didn't want to come in, people didn't want to train, people didn't want to exert themselves. They were advised by the government even not to be outside and exerting themselves and huffing and puffing due to all the smoke. So that affected us for a couple of weeks there until the fires were under control and the smoke settled. And you'd think, man, we've had a pretty rough start so far, but things are going to look up. But yeah, COVID had other ideas. So then COVID hits and everything gets shut down. So as a sporting facility, we were the first ones to be shut down and the last ones to open up. So we made our way through COVID like everybody else. We're not going to complain too loudly about that because everybody was in the same boat there. And thankfully in Australia here, the government did a pretty good job in looking after us and helping us out, making sure our staff was looked after, and we didn't have to put anyone off, thankfully. We finally got our doors back open again, and we had a 1 in 100 year flood, apparently, right here in Camden, in our hometown, which crippled the local softball association. It shut down the local baseball competition. Nothing was operating. No one was playing. No one was buying gear. So we're sitting here with our baseball shop and our training facility with full operating expenses, $30,000 a month to keep the doors open, and no one's buying anything. No one's training. No one's doing anything because there's no competitions happening. So yeah, that was the hardest period for us, probably, those floods. And when you say once in 100 year floods, just as they backed off, about a month later, we got hit again. So they must be 2 in 100 year floods. But yeah, so it was a long period. That was a very, very hard period for us. It was even harder for COVID than COVID for us because we were still open. We were still trying to keep everybody employed. We had to go and knock on the bank's door. We had to pivot. We had to do everything we possibly could. We hadn't got our website up and running by then, so that was the period that we were getting it done. So yeah, we really did struggle through that, and we only just made it through, to be honest. Yeah, and then the flood subsided, and then round 2 of COVID hit. So we had COVID again. Anyway, back indoors, no one's training, shut the doors again. But again, not going to complain too much about that. Everybody went through it and we survived. Not many businesses did survive. And you can see by our story why not many businesses survived in our area, especially if they do anything like us. So, yeah, so then COVID. So finally, COVID 2's finished. We think, all right, clear sailing. Here we go. We can finally rip in. We can finally start to pay back some of these bills that we've accumulated over this past tumultuous few years. And now we find ourselves in a financial crisis. So everything's so expensive that nobody's got any money to buy any gear. They still are, don't get me wrong. People support us. People do their best to support us. We've got a great community. We do offer really good value for everything we do. So it forces us to pivot. It forces us to do things differently. It forces us to offer more value in everything we do. And value doesn't just come in the form of who's cheapest, or it's what we give to people. It's what we offer that we can do that doesn't cost us any extra, just cost us some extra care, cost us some extra effort, cost us some extra time. So we have pivoted upon pivot upon pivot upon pivot, and we're here now in 2025. We are holding on by a thread. But we have a great business. We do have a great business that we believe in. Given a chance, it is going to thrive. We haven't given up on it yet. If we were going to give up on it, I think by listening to what we've been through already, we would have done that already. So we're ready to rock. We're ripping in. 2025 is going to be our year, and 2026 is going to be even better. We keep reinventing ourselves. We keep adding value, and we we keep looking after our community, and our community keeps looking after us. So RBI offers baseball and softball gear. Obviously, we sell all your major brands of bats, gloves, everything you could need for baseball and softball, team equipment, all that kind of stuff. We also make sure that we're always searching for those products that customers want or need or don't know that they want or need till we put it in front of them, so that gives us that unique edge. But yeah, we sell gear. We offer everything you could need for baseball and softball. So the part that really consumes us and is our passion is the training side of the business. We call that RBI Academy. So in RBI Academy, we offer one-on-one training. We offer group training to make it a little bit more affordable and accessible to more of our community members. We offer 8-week block academy training sessions in the off season. We also do that for T-ball, where we can do a bit more of a deep dive and a structured learning across the off season to get some of those things that maybe your everyday coach might not have time to cover through the season. We also offer expert in-store advice as well on both your gear, and we're happy to talk about any training issues you've got or whatnot. We do free sessions and free clinics as well. At the start of each season, we do our best to get around to as many places as we can, and we do free pitching clinics, free hitting clinics, free catching clinics. We do a Coach the Coaches course, which has been a great help to some of the local coaches in our area. It's not an accreditation course or anything. It's just very similar to what I'm hoping to pass on here to our listeners. It's just we cover things that are very simple, but that can make the game day so much easier and training sessions so much easier for our coaches, like dealing with parents, dealing with stakeholders, how to structure a lineup, how to write a lineup, how to structure a training session, how to keep your kids occupied, how to make sure that they're involved in the game, the key things to teach them so they're going to have some quick success in the game and enjoy the game a bit more. So we go over all that kind of stuff with the help of one of my experienced coaches we have at RBI. We do a lot of things for the community. Like, for example, we were out at the local state league games this year doing free clinics for any of the kids there, just to try and get involved with the community, and also try to get some kids down to the local state league games and watch some of our best players run around the park. I really do think that we need to try and bridge that gap, particularly over here in Australia, between the kids running around on a Saturday morning and our elite guys playing on a Saturday afternoon. Our kids do need heroes to aspire to be, and if they're all overseas, it makes it a little bit of an unattainable dream, even though it's becoming more and more accessible every day. So yeah, I'm doing my best to try and connect all parts of our game in the local area, and it's slowly but surely starting to pay off. So the coaches we use for our academy and our one-on-ones and our group training are all local young players that, when I say young players, they're adults, but they're young to me. And we give them an opportunity to earn an income while they're passing on their knowledge. These guys have got so much knowledge to give, but there's only so many hours in the day, and if they have to spend their time working at Macca's or the local supermarket, then they can't be out here imparting their knowledge on these young guys. So what RBI does provide, and RBI Academy does provide, is a great conduit between our experienced first grade players and our young kids who really thrive when they get the instruction from these guys. So by being able to employ these guys and give them jobs while they're giving back to our baseball and softball community, it really has worked out beneficial for everybody. So my plans for RBI Australia into the future are to expand and to be able to help more kids and grow the game. Our policy here at RBI Australia is grow the game and grow with the game. So that is our strategy through all our marketing that we do. I'm no marketing genius, but what I do know is I love the game. I love to play it, and I'm good at helping other people love the game. So we sort of just try and lean into that. Everything we do for our marketing, every dollar we spend on marketing, we try and make sure that there's a benefit for us, but there's also a benefit for the baseball and softball community around us. For example, instead of buying an ad somewhere on the radio or whatnot, we invested in getting 10,000 Player of the Week awards printed So they're like $5 awards that we give to the clubs that they can give out to their players for the player of the week. And, so that does something for the child. It makes them happy. It enriches the experience for the kid. It also gets them into our store and, it gives us hopefully more customers. We've just started to get those working online as well. So we're going to be able to send those all over the country. So people will get to know our name. But look, the whole reason I start businesses and things like that is because I'm a dreamer. The sky's the limit. I do not want to stop anywhere. I want to be able to spread the gospel of baseball all the way across the country. We have such a great country, such a great sporting country here in Australia. And I think that we have a great opportunity to create some really good baseballers. Like, for example, Travis Bazzana just went #1 in the recent draft. He plays on the other side of Sydney from us here. He played against my son growing up. Always was a good player. But we have lots of good players over here. And now with the opportunities that are presented to us, I think we can produce a lot more Travises as time goes on. So what is my plan into the future? My plan is to grow the game and grow with the game, in a nutshell. And the further we can spread our love for the game, I think the better it's going to be for both RBI and for baseball and softball. Admittedly, I'm a baseballer and I've grown up playing baseball my whole life. I played a little bit of softball at school and whatnot. But since opening RBI, and we've become part of the baseball and softball community in our local area, I've met so many great volunteers and people in the game of softball. That I myself have now become involved as well. It is the people who are involved in softball are just as passionate as I am. They're just as passionate as any baseballer I know, and the game is just as good as baseball. I really have enjoyed becoming more and more involved with softball, and the more I learn about it. I actually have my daughter playing softball now. We created a softball team full of baseball girls. Another thing that we've born out of RBI Australia is the Southwest Rhinos Baseball Club, which is basically, we don't have a lot of what you call travel ball here in Australia, but when I was running RBI and I wasn't coaching a team at the time for a particular club, I was just coaching in the shop itself. I realized that I used to take all my teams around to tournaments, and anything that was available, my teams would be there. And I noticed that wasn't happening much. So we created the Southwest Rhinos, me and one of my experienced coaches, and that has gone from strength to strength. People love it. We use it to take kids around to local tournaments. As long as they're registered in a baseball team somewhere, they can play in the Southwest Rhinos. And we go, they love it. The more they play, the better they get. There's no practice like game practice. And so you can really see the difference in the kids in the local area who participate in the Rhinos and go and play all these extra games in these extra tournaments. You can see the difference in the school level when they get to the game, the way they handle pressure. They've been in these situations, 2, 3, 4 times as much as every other player. The tournaments really do hold a great spot in the baseball landscape and softball landscape in any country. I know it's a little bit divisive over in the States between the travel ball and the local rec ball. We don't have that issue here. The difference playing tournament baseball makes to our players in the local area, it really does show. For example, I remember one year looking at how many games one of my teams that I coach had played. We played 80-something games across a year, and the rest of the competition who we were playing against played our 22-game season. So the difference in my team compared to the other teams, was obvious, and that's because we played 4 times as many games as anybody else. So that really was obvious to me, and it's getting them out there and getting them more reps in. You got to make sure you look after your pitchers, make sure you share that around, get everyone to go. It also means that I have a team full of pitchers. Like we play in so many tournament games and weekend games that everyone needs to learn to pitch. Everyone has a go. Everyone needs to learn every position as far as I'm concerned, right up until you're at least junior league. So So through the Southwest Rhinos travel team, we created a girls program just recently, which has been very, very successful. Just in our small area, local area, in our first year with not much advertising, we're up to about 25 girls so far. And we took those girls and we made up 2 teams and had them compete in the local softball t-ball competition, as the skills are very transferable, and the girls love it. And it really has opened our eyes to the local softball community and how passionate they are. It has been fantastic for our girls to play in the local softball competition on a Wednesday night out here. We've been able to teach them all kinds of things about base running, communication, teamwork, fielding, cut-off plays, all that kind of stuff that, you know, you can talk about as much as you like and run through drills, but until you put them under pressure in a game situation, they're never really going to sink in, and they're not going to see why it's so important. So it's been a fantastic opportunity. Our girls program has been really, really good out here, that is supported by RBI Australia and run through the Southwest Rhinos. So I look forward to growing that as the years go on as well. So at RBI, we are starting to foray into the tournament space ourselves. Like I said, I've been coaching in tournaments for over 20 years, so I know what is required and what we need. We've started with our first tournament, the T-Ball Smash this year, which was super successful. All the kids loved it. We took some feedback from it. We'll make it bigger and better next year, and I'll slowly work my way up the ranks to try and create some good inclusive tournaments, low-cost tournaments to try and get as many people playing as possible. I think playing in tournaments is a real big part of the enjoyment of baseball, and the more kids that get an opportunity to play in them, the more kids that are going to learn to love it, just like I do and just like the kids.
That's it for today's episode of RBI Australia Inside the Game. Thanks for tuning in. If you picked up something new, make sure to share it with your team or hit replay. We'll be back soon with more tips, drills and insights to help you level up. And hey, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so you never miss an episode. Until next time, train smart, play hard and keep growing that game.